Hi everyone, my name is Deanna and today we'll be working on week 9 of 52 weeks of Christmas. And just to update those who don't know what that is, it's a little challenge I created for myself because I always feel that I miss out on doing all the things I want to before Christmas is swept away and all over with like a whirlwind. So this is week 9 and we're going to be creating a snowman. It'd be a candy jar. So we're gonna need a glass jar. This is a pint-sized jar. This is Walmart's brand. It doesn't have any of the, it's just round. It's not flat on any sides. You can use a cur or ball jar if you want. This is just, I preferred the flat one, so that's why I purchased these. And it's cheaper to buy them if you're going to be doing a lot for gifts or whatever. Buy the whole 12 pack. It's a lot cheaper than buying individual jars. So even at the dollar store, they're still $1, and you can get a 12 pack, I think, for around $8 at Walmart. The same way with the ball jars. They're usually cheaper by the 12 pack. So if you're going to be doing a lot of crafts like that, then you might want to invest in a whole 12 pack of them rather than individual jars. So we need a ring. So this one, I put gesso on it, let that dry really good, and then I did 2 coats of this red spice, and it's just a plaid paint. Let's see, 20540. I don't know if they still carry this. This is quite old, so I don't know if they still have it, but I would assume they would. Now what I've pre-done is my styrofoam ball. And the reason is it took some time to dry. My original ones I did for a craft fair. And I used glass balls and then did the paint on the inside. And I had quite a bit of trouble getting the paint stick, but it finally did. So, and I don't have any of those to show you because what I didn't sell at the craft fair, I think a lady bought all 10 of them for gifts for her friends. So I don't have any of those. So this is what I worked on last week. And I thought it was doing pretty good. But then as it set to dry, which I thought it was pretty dry, the paint started moving around. Well, I can't have you having that fail after investing your materials and your time. So we are going to go with a separate route. Now I looked all winter long for just white glass balls this size. I could not find them last winter. So we're going to do it with these styrofoam balls. And if you can get them at Walmart, they have some balls that are already like sparkly. They are, they'll be in their craft section. But I don't know if you can see on this ball. I don't think you can, but it's already shiny. So, and it's a different type of foam than this. So if I would have had this size and that, I would have done it, but I didn't. So I had to go with this type of ball because I have tons of these. I got these on clearance a couple years ago at Walmart after Christmas for 5 cents a piece. So I bought a whole bunch of them. And this is actually 80 millimeters, so it's about 3.14 inches. So just a little over 3 inches. So a 3-inch ball is basically what you need. Now I've taken this one and I sat it on my ring, and then I drew with a pencil around there, and then I stayed above that. This is going to get glued onto here, but what I didn't want is if you decide you want to put hot cocoa in there, I didn't want to take a chance of any of this stuff falling off into the cocoa or whatever. Most of your chocolates and stuff are wrapped up and it wouldn't matter, but if there was hot cocoa or something there, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you can find the white balls, you're that far ahead of the game. So And what I did was I took Mod Podge and I put the Mod Podge all over the ball, and then I rolled it, and this mix is just Epsom salts and glitter. That's all it is. So I did that until it was all cleared, and then afterwards, if I had any spots that didn't look too good, then I just redid the whole thing in Mod Podge again, and then just sprinkled the whole thing with glitter. So, I mean, I'm getting some let off, but not bad. Okay? And that's been dry. That is dried really good. Now we're also going to create the snowman hat and then decorate it. So I will include a link to my Cricut design space that will give you can cut these out if you have a Cricut. It's already laid out for you in there, ready to go, and it will be the blue one. And the other two sizes will make the same hat, but just smaller sizes. So this would be the blue one in that Cricut design space. If you do not have a Cricut, you can use a ring, you can use punch, but the outer circle, the biggest part of the circle is 3 inches, and then the inside is 1 3/4. So you can draw a circle any size and then cut another circle, and this gives it a little brim there. So you need 2 of those, and then you will end up with the inside of your circle. That's going to be the top part of your hat. So to get started, this is a 2-inch strip by, I didn't even measure the length. It's plenty long, so it gives it extra strength when it rolls up. This one is 8.5 inches long. So now with paper, it has a direction that it favors. So if you take a piece of paper and you try to bend it, it should flex fairly easy. Now if you take it and it's resisting, that's the wrong way. So if you can, you want to try to avoid going the wrong way, especially when you're going to be rolling something, because it'll get little cracks in it. So try to find your bend and then go with that direction for if you're going to roll something or make something bumpy. So this one I did. And then I scored this at 1/2 inch in my scoreboard, and then I went along with my scissors and I started snipping about every 1/8 of an inch. And I did save some down here, and we're just going to snip right up to that 1/4 inch mark. And what that's going to give us is some little feet. Okay. Just like that. And that's what we're going to glue to our brim of our hat. So I'm just going to kind of bend those over, get them used to it. So, and this is plenty long, but I made it extra long because then that gives that brim, that hat, some strength. So we're going to roll this up. I'm going to take part of our rim here, and we're going to lay that over top of there, right down to those feet, and then we can kind of release that, and it will stretch out to where it has to be. There we go. And we want to try to stay even. Now if you want to make the brim of your hat slanted, you can, but you're going to need a different size circle. The idea of this circle is it should fit right on top of that hat and not have any gaps, or as close as we can get it. Okay? So now with that like that, I'm going to get in there with my glue and just kind of hold that down a little bit. And we'll go back in and add more glue. But for now, we just need something to hold that in. Just for a little bit. And once you start making these, and they actually go pretty fast. And you can make them all different sizes. You can make them big or small. The one I think it's the little red hat in there makes a hat that's about an inch high. So, and that was for another project that's in my 52 weeks at Christmas. I think that might have been week 7 or 8. Might have been 8. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our glue, and I'm using art glitter glue. And it's a fast drying glue. You can use hot glue if you want, but then you got to be careful because you don't want that to, when it slips through those feet, that it doesn't burn your fingers. I'm just going to start patting that down. Just like that. And we'll have to go back and do that other row that's overlapping with some more glue. It's no biggie. We're just going to lay another bead of glue in there just to catch those extras. Now I don't know how other people do. I came up with this. This design has been working for me for a couple of years. I don't know if somebody else does them this way, but I haven't done a search on this kind. So I don't know if other people do it this way, but this is how I do them. And it works pretty good. And like I said, I've been doing them for a couple of years, so I can make them pretty fast. You just get used to making them. All right. Now we're going to take and we're going to put more glue on here. Good amount. There we go. It's a little bumpy. And we're going to take our extra piece here and we're going to lay that right on there. And what that's going to do is it's just going to cover up the bottom there, those feet. So it looks nice and finished. There we go. All right. Yeah. And that's going to get glued on the top, so not much is going to be seen there. All right, so now for the hat. Let me get a piece of scrap paper here. I'm going to lay a good amount of glue right along this. I should have picked a different color, huh? So we can see it. Here we go. Black on black is hard to see. So I'm going to lay a good amount of glue right along that edge there. Go. And I'm just going to stick this hat right in there. There we go. We want it as close as we can get it. So now this hat's in a little bit, so round that out. Let's kind of take a look at it. And I'm going to move it to one side so that, because it looks like I'm going to have to trim a little bit. So that way I only have to trim the one side, not two sides all the way around. If it hangs over just a tiny bit, it's not going to hurt anything, but this looks like it's hanging over just a little bit more than I want it to. Whoops. Not far enough there. Okay. Yeah, and I got just a little bit hanging over there, but we want to let that dry up pretty good. So let's go to putting on our ribbon. So I chose some ribbon. What did I do with it? Okay. Case of the disappearing ribbon. Set it back in here. I didn't set it back in there, but all right. So I had another roll of this out here. But I'm going to use this red snowflake. This is a 1/2 inch gross grain ribbon. And I think it's Hobby Lobby, but I'm not sure. This is an older one I've had for a while. So, and I just want to measure around the brim or the base there and see how far I gotta go. So we need about that long. You want it to overlap just a little bit. All right. So we get that. And I'm going to take my lighter and I'm gonna seal that so it doesn't fray. Now I have a Martha Stewart punch, and it's the tiny snowflake row, and I'm going to just punch just a little bit so I can have some snowflakes for the brim. I don't need a very big piece. There's a little scrap piece here, and I'm just going to slide that in there and oopsie, and then just give it a couple little. And then I end up with these cute little snowflakes. And because they're punched, they have a nice bow in them. So this is a really cute punch. Does a nice little thing. So, but there's no numbers on it. It's just Martha Stewart. I don't know why they never put numbers or names to them on their punches, but they don't. So, all right. So we got some of those. That's still drying, but I think we can work with it. We'll just be gentle and we'll trim it at the last part there before we add it on. So I'm going to go to the back where my seam is. And I'm going to grab a little bit of hot glue here. And I'm just going to put a little tiny dab right by that seam. And we're going to lay that on there. And bring that around, keeping it low to the, touching the brim there. Let that open up a little bit. I'm going to put a little dab of glue right here on this part. And then lay it down in there. Get a couple glue strings here. See if I can get those off of there. There we go. I'm going to take a couple of these snowflakes and I'm just going to glue them on the hat. So if that's my back, then here's my front. And I'm just going to place a couple of these on there. Okay. Oops. That was my back. Spun it around too far. That's all right. They'll look cute no matter where they are on there. And we're just gonna put a couple on the top, maybe. Okay. Some up on the side here. Maybe add another one right here. Yeah, we got 7 of them on there, so I think that's good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our snowball and we're going to glue it right to this rim here, and I'm not going to worry about the pencil line showing or anything like that because that's going to get covered. So I'm just going to take some hot glue and I'm going to go all around that whole area there where my pencil line is. Good amount. There we go. And we're going to lay our hat right on there, just like that. Like I said, if you see glue, it's not going to matter. That's going to be covered. So let's let that just sit for a minute. Now I've taken, you can add this second circle if you like, just to make the hat a little bit more stable. I'm not going to. I don't mess with mine too much, so I'm not worried about it. And then I lost my silly pen. Okay. I used it to tap that in. Now I don't see it. Oh, there it is. All right. You can use whatever kind of greenery you want. I've found that this is a roll of just regular greenery, and it's got wire in it, just inexpensive. And I found that this works pretty good. So I'm going to cut a piece of this off. And let me get another, see if I got another ring here. I'm going to put that another ring. Yep, I do. Use this one as a guide to. And I'm going to go on the outside of that ring there. Doing all right. Looks like about that long. I'm just going to use my nippers. There we go. Get this out of our way. Kind of start bending that a little bit. All right. There we go. And now we're just going to start gluing this around that ring. And I'm going to save the best part of the ball for the front. I thought I had everything else, but I didn't. Okay. Before I forget, you're going to need to make some kind of nose. For these ones, I came up with using this Sculpey clay. And what I did is I just took a hunk and I just kind of rolled it on one end like that. And then you can pinch off the bottom or however long you want. And then I just flattened the bottom. And you can have it bent or however you want to do it. And then you can make little lines in it. I'll show you here. You can do little lines in it like that to make it look more like carrot. And then I believe it gets baked at 120 degrees, but there's no directions on the clay itself. I looked it up online, so it goes by the thickness and stuff, so you'll have to, depending on the size you decide to make, you'll have to go by what the directions say online for baking it. And it doesn't take too long. So that's our nose. For the eyes, we're going to take some gems and I just took a couple because these reminded me of kind of like coal because of the facets in them, and I just took them. I wish I had a little bit bigger ones. Boy, I thought I had everything ready for this video. I was not even close. And then you just color them with your Sharpie marker, so you can color them whatever color you want. And this seems to work pretty good. Let's see if I have some bigger ones. I used these size because my ball was a little bit smaller before, but now I'm wondering if these are going to be big enough for this size ball. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, we might be all right. But you might want to go a little bit bigger, but I think that's, if I go bigger than that, let's see here. Let's try this size. Maybe that size. And it doesn't matter what color you start with, because you're just going to paint it black anyway. There we go. There, now those can dry up while we wait. And also some stickles. You can use smaller gems if you want. Do the same thing, paint them black. That's what I did on the other one. But for my ones for the craft show, we use stickles. Okay, so this is just the black stickles. All right. We're going to start with a little bit of glue here. And glue on metal dries fairly fast. So I'm going to try to stay right in about the center there. Try to keep my fingers out of it. And remember that the metal can get hot also. I'm just going to kind of hold that. Now when I was doing a bunch of them for the fair, I did all of this first. Got all of these set first. And then they had time to dry. But we're just doing one. So. And these are a little long for me, so I probably will trim them down. But if you trim them down, then do it over top of a trash can, because they're kind of staticky. So I had them stuck all over my, I did it over top of a trash can, and I still had them stuck all over my wall in my craft room where the trash can sits. So now I know to hold them way down in there. And just a little haircut. They don't have to be, I think I can trim that down just a little bit too. I also have some picks here that I'm going to snip off. I don't like to snip everything off my picks too much ahead of time. I also cut down some of these little silver balls off of that one. So if I don't know for sure how many I'm going to use, then I don't cut them off prior to. If I know how many exactly I'm going to use, then I'll snip them off ahead, and especially anything glittery, because I want to try to contain that glitter, because it gets all over everything when you start cutting these things apart. Alright, so I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut some of the length off of there. You can leave it, it's not atrocious, but whoops, hang on. We're coming unstuck there. Hold that a little bit longer. But I'll trim a little bit off and I'll show you. I got to do it over my trash can though. I'll trim some and then I'll show you here. I'm leaving it about, oh, it's probably still about an inch long, I'm guessing. And if it wasn't going on a candy jar, you could probably just leave it. If you're just going to set some decorations in it or something. But you can see that it's staticky, it sticks to everything. So, there we go. So, it's just a little bit shorter there. You can go back in and trim more off later if you want. Alright, so now we're just going to start decorating that. And then this will screw right on that jar. And if you want to put it on the jar now, you can. And you don't necessarily have to paint that ring. I do a lot of canning, so I save my rings, and if they get start to get a little rusty, those are the ones I save for crafting rather than throw them away. So this one wasn't actually too bad, but in fact I wish I had some that were really rusted, because those are even cooler. But I don't. So we can probably glue his eyes on. You can't even hardly see that now, see? So I'll give his eyes on here, give them a time to dry a little bit while we decorate. And we'll do his mouth last. All right. So let's see where we want for the front. I'm thinking right here. This looks like a good spot for the front. I think I want an eye there. My hands are getting so dry. I think it's from all the hand washing I do. They're just so dry they don't want to pick up anything anymore, no matter how much I put lotion on them. So hopefully those will stick. If not, we'll hit them with some hot glue. I think our hat's going to be off to the side a little bit, like that. All right. I'll set him up. We have some tiny pine cones, and we got the silver balls here. I cut those over top of my small trash can so that any glitter that broke off would be in there, not on everything else. And we need a bow for his thing, so let's go with that same ribbon we used. And we'll just make a little bow like you tie your shoes. And I'm not going to cut it until after I've got it made. That way I know I got the right length. But you can. This is a single-sided ribbon. If you have troubles with that, you can always add a double-sided, use a double-sided ribbon. I just manipulate them so that they face the direction I want. I'm going to cut that there. Cut this one on an angle here. We're going to take our lighter. Let's see a little shot. Now you can do this with this type of ribbon. Cotton ribbon you can't. It will just burn. But with cotton ribbon, you just take a little bit of your glue and seal the ends. We're going to glue this bow right there. And that will help hold it together too, so it doesn't start coming apart. Come on, tied. All right, let's get you down in there. Just like that. There we go. You can use a wider ribbon if you want. Yeah. He looks kind of funny right now, but they actually turn out really cute by the time they're all done. I'm going to lay them down so you can get a good view of it. I'm going to glue a couple of these in there. And hot glue works good for this because it grabs quick. They don't all have to be facing up. You can put some down towards the bottom. And if I need, I've cut 5 of these. If I need more, I can always cut more. And I started with that. And I'm going to put you down like that. Put you right in here. There's no rhyme or reason. I just start putting them in. I love these little ones that are like glass covered here. Let's start out with we'll cut 5 of these off. Working our odd numbers first. There we go. All right. So find the bottom if you can, if it looks the worst. I'm going to add a little shell right there. That's set up. And it's small, so it doesn't take a ton of decorations. Lay out some of my small pine cones. Oops. Some of these are starting to break apart a little bit. I'm ending up with a lot of little seeds and stuff, but they're getting pretty dry. They're getting pretty dry. All right. And I love these little pine cones. They are so cute. I'm just going to kind of lay them in a group there. Maybe another one. Oh, this tiny one here. Little trio of them here. Just like that. We'll get the strings and stuff later. We're not worried about it right now because there's probably going to be a few. Well, let's see here. Let's put one of these right in here. Right in the middle there. Carefully put that down. Let's get us some more pine cones. Like I said, I don't pre-plan it, and they kind of look kind of dorky when you first start out, but once you start filling in, they end up so cute. And really, I think I sold them for, oh, what were they? $7 a piece. And then, but if you were going to make it, even if you bought the jar for $1, you still don't have that much into them. A lot of these things, I mean, if you buy a whole pick, this was $1.99, you get it 50% off, so 99 cents. So you get quite a few out of that one. Same thing here. You can get quite a few out of one. So actually you could do quite a few, but of course you can't sell for exactly what you paid. You got to be able to make some money. But if you're doing them for gifts for home, you can see how it'd be a nice inexpensive gift to make for maybe teachers or friends, and then put their favorite candy in, or hot cocoa will go in there. So it makes it kind of nice. We do a lot of teacher gifts, and actually I think this year one of my grandsons, it's his last year in elementary. He'll be going on to the bigger school next year, so it was his last year. But I think we still had 8 teachers. And then, of course, the office girls. And so you start making that many things. And we don't have to do all that. It's just something we've done since they started school. So the one year we did 12 days of Christmas for one of the teachers, and actually we did it for all the teachers. And I think there was 6 or 7 that year. You know, you got art, and you got gym, and you got music, and you got all those. So it doesn't take long, but that was 12 days of Christmas. That was a lot of crafting, because you didn't want to be way out there on cost. But so we did a lot of different things. We didn't do these because my daughter came up with this. She suggested this idea for the craft fair, and then I come up with the design for it. So, but she was like, why don't we make some snowman heads for jars? And so then I said, all right, we'll see what I can come up with. And so this is what I came up with. And I thought they were cute. Let's get some of these white ones in here. Looks like I got one more shiny one there. Alright, let's do These are different sizes, so it's kind of nice. Let's add one down in there. That and a tiny, tiny pine cone. Now these pine cones here, I got in a park looking for some seeds of something else and came across these teeny tiny pine cones. I could not tell you what kind of tree they comes from, but I'm sure someone out there could. There we go. All right, let's get a white one down here. You can use other things too. You can use whatever you want in them and do. We had them all different colors. We had them in teals and reds and just all the different Christmas colors just to decorate them up. It was kind of nice. All right, maybe one up here. This little spot here. It's getting kind of full, actually. Getting kind of full. Those look like gumballs to me. I think that's pretty good. I do. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Got that one left there. Let's see. Let me put one of those right down in here. That little last white one. Oop. Oh. Oh. And then stick the hot part to your finger. Alright, let's see if we can get it in there. See if it's still got enough glue on it. I know there's some on my finger. Alright. Looks like our eyes are set pretty good. Alright. Let's get our nose glue down. We'll use a little bit of hot glue for that. And let's see here, we want that to be just like, see now he's starting to look a little better. Isn't that funny how just that little nose. Alright. There we go. Now for his smile, you can do it however you want. You can do a regular smile. I think I'm going to do a little smirk. So, let me see here. Scrap piece here. What do I do with that scrap piece? There we go. Come here. There we go. So I think I'm just going to do a little smirk. So it will go something like this. Something like that, just off the corner of his mouth. You could do a full smile if you want. You could go like that and do a full smile. You can use the gems, but we did some of these with the little smirk and they looked so cute because we didn't want them all looking the same, you know. So we did some with a little smirk, just like that. And those were cute. We wanted them to each have their own little smile. We did some with a wavy mouth, and so that's the nice thing about stickles. They're easier to work with. All right, basically we just have to glue his hat on, which looks like it's pretty dry now. And I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to carefully snip off the extra little part of that brim. No one else would probably notice, but I know it's there, so. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to glue his hat down. And you could probably make even a little bit bigger hat. But I'm going to glue his hat down off to the side like that. So I'm going to load up my glue right on the inside there. Just on the inside. Dropping it in. There we go. We got the back facing that way. I'm just going to put it like that and let that glue drip down. It won't run out, but it should drip down and adhere to that thing. So that pretty much is the candy jar. Now we filled them for the teachers. Oh, that's dry. We'll unscrew this here. Whoops. I don't want to touch his mouth or anything. We filled them with just the candies. And Walgreens sells these mints. They're just a soft mint. They sell them year-round, but that just added a nice touch, and you get a big tub of them for pretty reasonable. So, but if it's just for a craft fair or for large amount of gifts you're going to make, then you might want to go something more expensive. If it's for more personal, you know, your boss, or if you guys do smaller gifts or whatever for friends, you might want to add their favorite candy. But that is our little snowman candy jar. And you can also, if you want, you don't have to use the pint-sized jar. You can use a quart-sized jar if you want. And you just have more room for more candy or more cocoa. But his total length finished here with his hat, he is about 9.5 inches high. So it's kind of hard to tell on the video, but that is week 9 of 52 weeks of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you consider following along. And I would like if you would subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe to my channel, please hit that bell so you can be notified every time I load up a new video. I do other things besides the 52 weeks of Christmas. So take a peek over there and see what you think. And a thumbs up is always appreciated. And until the next time I see you, have a great day. Bye-bye.